here and they're like, oh, well, you don't have a pool card because you owe $5 or you owe 92 cents or, you know, can we make a cap or something before we put a lien? Because there's no cap, I don't think, that I'm aware of. And it seems kind of silly to put out a lien on somebody that owes $25.
Well, it's never been done.
It's normally when they're a year or more behind.
It's more like $900.
Yeah.
I've had a lien put on me and I've only owed like $125.
Well, that's a year. That's almost a year.
Yeah.
I think it's, what is it, 90 days that they, if you're
You know,
paying.
you probably start getting nasty grams. I don't know
65.
their exact
You pay
process.
quarterly,
Right.
and if you don't pay it, they will send you a letter, and then if you hadn't paid it by the next quarter, they'll get another letter, and then if you don't get it then, I think that's when they go in and either do a lien or send it to collection.
And I've had friends that have shown up to the pool and they owe like $5 and they don't have a pool card.
What happens with that is that the pool card doesn't get made unless they're up to date or they get pulled into the office. And since we don't disclose how much somebody owes, the pool attendant does not know. You know, and that's why we send them into the office.
Do you shut somebody's water off if they're just behind $9.25?
Heck no. They're usually behind again at least a year. You know, a minimum of $60 is what I've seen before we start doing the shut-off processes.
I heard somebody was threatening their water was going to be shut off for $9.25 that they owed.
On Christmas Eve, in a registered letter.
Was that a registered or certified?
That wasn't a mistake. There was some overlaps in there, and I don't know the exact what happened with it. But their water was not going to be shut off on Christmas Eve, I can assure you, because I have to go out and put a
But they
notice on the door.
received-
They received their notice, that's just when they got sent out.
Was it a certified letter or registered?
It
I don't know
required
the
a
difference.
signature, I know that.
What's that?
It required a signature.
Right.
It was a mistake, though.
Yeah, it was a mistake.
But
from
we
what I
were supposed
understand.
to not be sending out certified letters anymore because 95% of them go unopened, so they stopped doing that.
They opted to do that one more time, and I don't know, did Kathy talk to you about that? It was news to me when they did it. I think it was because it was a concern that there were so many homes that were behind, that they just wanted to have it on
Who knows?
record that
I don't
those
know.
letters were sent out.
It's hard to say without Kathy here.
What does it cost to turn the water back on if you are shut off?
I believe the cost is $240.
Why so much?
You know, that's a good point, and I was gonna actually bring up that to the board, that I think it should, if we could reduce that down to 50.
I guess this was stated in that letter, it was $240 to turn it back on.
Right, that was.
I called the city of Sandy only charged
Annual fee.
$15 to turn the water back on after it was.
How much, Murph?
15?
But that would be something that, yeah,
It says
would
right
love
there,
to
you
look
don't
at.
send
They're
certified.
considering raising it to 25. And that's after 60 days, and then a pink notice goes out with another 30 days before the.
Now, $25 ought to be quite enough.
Yes.
I found them anywhere from, like you say, $25 to up to $200. Yeah, we are high on that. I don't know, that happened before my time.
But
yeah.
$9.25.
That was a mistake.
Again, that was a mistake.
All right, let's move on to the
But,
treasurer's report.
Question? Oh, go ahead.
All right, no, you were first. You were first.
Yes, they were apologized
With the
to.
collection agency.
Anyway, the
Carla?
only change in this, just in case you haven't read through it, is that it allows the office to use a collection agency in addition to an attorney, which will reduce the costs. On both sides, both the RIMS costs and also the homeowner that is in arrears, the cost for them will be quite a bit less than the attorney's fees.
Yeah.
Question?
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes.
Bill.
Well,
That's
just
the only
in-
change, everything else is the same that they had before.
Just in general, I think that's probably a good idea to reduce costs for, those unfortunate events where you have to actually go after a collection. But in practice, is it something that would be done after a normal attempt is made from this office, like a past due notice or something, before you would engage a collection agency or an attorney? Or do you just immediately go to a collection agency when somebody's
They
late?
try everything they
They
can.
work
From the office?
extensively, and most
From the office.
people respond, you
Okay.
know.
What would be the name of the collection agency that you're considering employing?
Is that out there? Kathy told me. I don't remember. Kathy told me what it was.
Hmm.
I don't remember.
Could we be advised of the name of that?
Sure. Yeah, that's
Company.
Kathy next time you see her.
Some have good
Should be a
reputations and some,
standard, don't you think, set at this time before you go to a collection agency of how many notices that are sent out
Yeah, there needs
prior
to be
to?
some sort of guide.
It already is.
You can't just send one out.
No, they send out
And then not just-
several.
Mhm.
They
Well,
give
I think
people
it should
time
be
to
spelled out.
respond, they give people time to come in and make payment
Well, it
plans.
should be spelled out.
Well, it is,
It is.
let me
Okay.
read this.
We haven't seen it, that's why.
Okay, yeah, it says, number one, send a 15-day demand for payment and notice of intent to record a lien. So that's the hate mail you get right away.
That's right away. Now, how many days are you overdue on that? 15?
It's usually a year.
Well,
A year
no,
overdue?
No.
probably
Could be.
$60 or two
Okay.
payments.
Okay. If no
Kathy
response,
can
if
write
there's
that
no
down.
response, and usually at this point in time, people call them and they start working things out. If no response, a lien is placed on property for a fee of $109, billable to the property owner. If no response within 120 days, so they still have 120 days to respond from the date of the initial demand letter, the account will be placed into collections with the collection agency or attorney chosen by the accounting office.
Okay.
okay, thanks.
I move we adopt the resolution.
Well, you decide.
You have to sign it.
You have to sign, okay.
You know, in the 9 years I've been here, I have shut off one water to a home that had consistently been late.
Not very neighborly.
The other homes I've shut off have all been foreclosed upon, and the homes were vacant. So there's only been one time since I've been here where I've actually had to turn off the water where somebody was living in the home.
I have another question.
So
Is
it's
this
not-
for the water company or for the Timberline?
This is for the rec
This
site.
is just the rec.
This is only the rec, this is
Yes.
not water.
Right. Water,
And it is spelled out on this resolution.
Well, this is.
water, we have the ability to shut off
The
the
rec
water
dues.
After that, and
Just the rec.
after they've been given their notice.
Oh, this is
Which is on the
this
day.
is rec dues.
They're given a 15-day notice, they're given a 5-day notice, they're given a 24-hour notice before I go out and knock on their door and leave
is this a board decision that makes this?
no, this is the PUC who makes this decision.
The PUC does make this
Yes.
decision.
Then they get a notice on their door, and actually we give them more warning, because PUC is 5 days. We give them the 15 days.
Is there any assistance that's offered through Timberline Water Company to come from it?
Not at this time,
No, there have been individual cases we've worked with.
but we'll do payment plans. We'll do whatever we can do to keep people in water.
I was told somebody wanted to make payments and they weren't allowed to make
How
payments.
much money do you need?
That's not true.
If, after a certain point, when it goes down to the 24-hour shut-off notice, then you have to pay in full to keep your water on.
And Kathy's the one that does
At
it.
that point, your payment options are gone. You haven't come into the office, you've been asked to come in.
One of the reasons why I'm not gonna sign it, I don't have clarity as far as just the questions that were raised is, how much is this about? And two, going back to the law, the lien law was originally designed for contractors and subcontractors who were involved in building a home, and the either supervisor or head contractor was not paying those people, thus it involved either fraud or theft. In the recreation side, they haven't stolen anything from us. We're gonna ruin their reputation, impede their ability to sell their house, and ruin their credit rating, all because of some rec fees that at this point have not been disclosed what those fees are, what the cap is, how little they can be. And to me, I have a real moral problem with that, because that implies that they have committed theft, and I don't see that at all. So they don't get to use the common properties, and this will not do it. So,
Doesn't
I just
imply
don't-
that they're not being very responsible either. It sounds like you.
it's ridiculous, Joe. You're accusing somebody of committing theft.
No,
They're
I
out
know.
of work some.
A lien implies that a theft has been committed, wherein the county is to get involved and make sure that money is paid at some time that, during or after that house is sold. And to me, that's just ridiculous. So they don't, bar them from using the pool and the common areas. What's the problem?
You know, I think, from my opinion, a lien implies that someone
Owes some money.
that owes money and they're not responsible in
But look at the
taking care
law.
of that.
You're ruining their credit rating, you're ruining their
But
reputation.
that's their choice.
No, that's our
It's not
choice.
our choice.
That's our choice.